Steve, we used to have a thing in the Navy called Man Overboard. Did you ever get involved, or did you ever come across somebody who fell overboard?
Well, we used to get involved a lot in those sorts of things, didn't we? Because as the signallers up there on the bridge, we would be the ones that would haul up Flag Oscar, Man Overboard. I think it was Flag Oscar, wasn't it? Flag Oscar, Man Overboard, Man Overboard, Man Overboard. And we'd do all of the old forbidden, putting it out on the comm system, on the tactical comm system, Alpha Delta, whatever it used to be. I don't know.
But your memory's great. I can't remember anything.
Anyway, we'd put it all out. We'd have that big white folder, wouldn't we? And there were certain courses of action that you had to take and put out to any ships that you were with. And it was cool.
How do you remember that it's white?
Because it was white.
I can't remember that.
Yeah. Anyway, so we used to put that out. I think only on one occasion did we have somebody go overboard in the 9 years that I was in, which was really good going when you think about it. And this guy was picked up, not a problem. Relatively calm seas. Seaboat was released and he was recovered. But in 9 years, as I say, I think that was pretty good going. When we worked with the Americans seemed to either lose somebody overboard, lose an aircraft overboard, or somebody ejects themselves into the hangar roof. Those were the things that would always come over. I don't know if you remember those sorts of things. But gosh,
I do remember that
was dreadful. But yeah, we were very fortunate, I think. Or I was at least very fortunate in my service. What about yourself?
I only remember ever going into the boat once. What I remember of it is I was tapped on the shoulder and said, "You're going off." I must have been on watch or loafing around. I think probably doing days rather than watches. And I didn't even know where the radio was. So I had to go look for it, delayed that, had this thing on, got into foul weather gear or whatever it was. And we were being lowered from the side in the boat and they released it. And either the sea went down as it was released because we fell some distance, hit the water, and I bounced. And it was only a guy, some hard as nails type of seaman next to me, grabbed my leg that stopped me from going over because of the weight of the radio. I mean, these weren't light radios in the 80s. And if I'd have fallen in between the boat and the ship and the sea stair, I think that would have been it. So I would have been overboard, ironically. And then I just remember being miserable because the waves were quite big. And if I remember, I don't know if it was on the Charybdis or the Aurora, but I think that the dummy that was thrown over, big thing, wasn't it? I think it was called Fred.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find it.
No, they were huge.
I think we eventually picked it up and then put it back into the boat and then came on. Well, I didn't equip myself very well, I don't think. I was quite miserable and cold by the time I got back.
That does tend to happen when you are thrust into the middle of the briny in only foul weather gear, in the sorts of gear that we used to have as well. It was very limited by comparison to what they have today, I should imagine. And that radio that we used to have to drag around with us, was that a Klansman radio? You can't remember.
if you say so.
I think it might have been the Klansman radio, and you'd strap it to you, and the damn thing would never work anyway.
Yeah.
It'd never work. It didn't matter where you were.
Was it green?
Yes. Yeah. It was a Klansman. It's old Klansman radio. And they never used to flipping work. They were a nightmare. And they had an aerial on them that you'd never worked properly. So it was absolutely dreadful. It was a total Fred Carnos, mate. Total Fred Carnos. A right old
Klansman
circus.
radio.
Yeah.
I'm looking this up to see if it is. Marconi.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm looking at a picture of it now. I kind of vaguely remember. I don't know how big it was.
Yeah, it was good size. It was sort of big. Yeah. It'd sit in your back on a little backpack. Yeah, we used to use that. And we used to have some other smaller radios that were totally crap. And I can't remember what they were called off the top of my head now.
Steve, you're letting the side down. You don't remember.
I'm really sorry, mate. I'm trying very hard, but scratching back for over 4 decades, it's a bit of a trouble these days.
Yeah, but I'm assuming it's something that these kind of manoeuvres they still do regularly. Obviously, it's professionalism. I just wasn't very professional about it. I wasn't created for that kind of thing. Let's put it that way.
Well, you're far more cerebral, Mark.